Hi everyone, welcome to Game of Hacks. And Game of Hacks 2025 was actually doing a simulation of a real red team engagement where we had the Bank Heist 2. So this is the event on the website simulations.hackit.com, and we can just register to log in into the site. So it requires you to enter a username and a password, right, to access the platform. Okay, so this was the card for the game. So it's Bank Heist 2, and it was premiering on November 21st. Went for 2 days, and basically what the game was about was it was actually trying to simulate a red team engagement where a user is supposed to create a threat model on how to attack a bank and end up gaining access. So there'll be two different accounts, that is Mr. X and Prime Minister's account, and you're supposed to move your cash from the Prime Minister account to Mr. X account. Okay, so this is not like your normal CTF games, and for most people this was a real roller coaster. So let's jump right into it. So this is the site, and it is actually a site that mirrors a real banking website where they're talking about, the normal advertisements. We have reward points, we have maybe a year of wealth, maybe we have some credit card infra. You can get a credit card after opening an account. What kind of account are you having? What are the kind of systems that this bank has? Does it have an online presence? Does it have mobile banking? Can you do savings? Can you do an internet banking account? Can you take loans? Are there SME plans? So normal stuff. Do we have customer care services? Can you access your money anytime, anywhere, from anywhere? And as you click around, let's check for you. You'll see their personal accounts. We can have classic savings account, current account, youth, student, and what you are just basically doing here is just learning how this site is. We can also check for its technology, and we see that it's built using WordPress and it's 6.8.3, so pretty recent. So anything going towards outdated WordPress would not be possible probably, but they might be using maybe a vulnerable plugin or a theme. So we might check that after we have tried everything else. So just by looking at this, we will try to formulate a threat model that we are going to use to maybe try and see how we can gain access into this banking system. Let's check loans. We have personal loans, salary advance. It's quite diverse. I like it, and it's eye appealing. It looks really nice. We have our management team here. We have Jonathan, he is the CEO. We have Dr. Noor, he's the CTIO. And we have Sophia, the CFO, Michael, and Amelia. So as we look forward here, we are seeing a couple of email addresses that are being leaked. So for Dr. Noor, we have an email address. We have an email address for Michael, and we have an email address for Amelia Anderson. So this is something that you need to take note of. Okay. So we'll just do we just take this, and then we will be keeping them for later use. Okay, just looking at these email addresses, we have a Gmail account here, a Yahoo, and Outlook. So this will be pretty much hard to maybe try and brute force. Yahoo, probably not. Most guys using a Yahoo don't have MFA actually, so probably not. For Outlook, it's also a bit of a challenge. So let's continue with the threat model, or rather enumeration, to see what else we do have. Who is Amelia? She actually is a manager. She's looking at operational risk, process optimization across our units, precision, high standards, leadership presence, customer care touchpoints, and all that. Notice things like branch performance and operational risk. This will be quite important in the next step that we are going to actually do. So based on the questions that are being asked on the site, if you actually send one or two names of the names here that have email addresses, you will actually be able to get the target that we are supposed to follow in our threat model. Just to leak the process, it's actually called profiling, where you're profiling a character that you want to attack. So we can check a bit more on the site. You just get a feel of it, and we are able to see that there is quite a lot here to learn about. Okay, nothing much, but you can see they're also talking about Amelia here. He's talking about lead trust and all that. So they are actually talking quite a lot about Amelia. So we are now quite interested because their blog is all about Amelia. So Amelia is breaking the silence. Life beyond work is in private banking. It's easy. That is really interesting. So checking on the news, nothing important really. But now we have a candidate that fits profiling for us, and that's Amelia, because they are quite talking about her. We still don't have a viable way to move forward. We have 3 candidates with emails. So the next thing we can try to do is, and this was question 4, I believe, is try and conduct a phishing campaign. So for this, you need to be a bit creative. We don't know who is going to reply to our emails, so we are just going to try them at random, and we are going to send them to the 3 different emails that we have, and then we will wait and pray to God that one of them clicks on what we sent them. Okay, so for that, you need to be creative. You can create, like, maybe you can use your own infrastructure like GoFish, but know this, the best attackers are the ones who know how to use legitimate platforms to conduct their malicious intents. And for that, I'm going to use Google Forms. And I'm actually going to call this GOH, or Game of Hacks registration form. And then we actually want to just set a way to get our credentials. So this is just an interesting way to get it. Let's see, short answer. Do we want a short answer, multi-choice? Yeah, let's go with short answer. So what is the question? The question will be, what is your username? And then they'll need a short answer. Then we can ask for, what is your email? What is your email? And then we can also ask for, what is your password? What password will you use on the platform? So this is quite mediocre, and I'm just doing this as to show you that, you know, it's just a way that you can use. So I'm just putting in quite a very simple form, and then we'll see what it will do. Actually, for this, we'll just ask what is your name. like that, and then we'll publish it. Anyone with the link, manage, and then we can just do editor restricted responder and anyone with the link. Yep, done. Anyone with the link, got it. Copy responder link, and then we're just going to send it now. We'll put the link there, and then we are just going to make sure that this is a link to make it easier for them. Okay, I think we click there. Okay, awesome. So we'll start by the recipients that we had, but so that is Amelia, that is the first recipient, and then you are going to send that. And then if we check send, we just copy this. So this is my email. We will do this to let's see, fax CPF, and we're actually going to do this to these three dudes. Okay, send that, and then compose another one. Okay, fax, and then the third dude is this one. Okay, then we're just going to send them. Then we will be on the lookout to see whether the email has been sent. So first, I already get an email that this address was not found, so this was not a real email. We already know that. So one of the user is not real, but then we can wait for the other two. So on that note, we can also keep checking our Google form, check for responses. Hopefully somebody clicks. Oh, and actually checking the responses, we see that we already have one response. So this is looking quite lucrative. So our user Amelia clicked on it, and we actually do have a name, and we have an email address, and we do have a password. So let's go back on the site and look for something that will allow us to log in, because on this blog I don't see anything that we can use to log in. Maybe since we saw it was WordPress, we can just try and probe for WP admin. Let's see, Amelia, and that's the password. Remember me. That fails. Also, one thing to remember is we saw this was lnb.com or something like that, Lindensen Bank. So we can assume that there is an internal email for the team. So we can try that ln, I think it's lnb.com. I would have to check that, and then let's copy this, copy that. Still fails. So unknown email address. So this user does not exist in that WordPress site. Another thing we can try to do is let's find an internet banking site, and we actually do have an iBanking site there. So very interesting. Let's try see first whether we can be able to log in with a Gmail account. That fails. Let's try see whether they have an lnb.com email. So this fails, and it says invalid username or password. So we need a username and not an email, so we can get rid of this part. And then we'll still try our password. This still fails. One thing we can think of is the naming convention of the company. Maybe they're using the first name and the last name. So maybe the first name dot the last name, or last name dot the first name. So we can first get rid of the middle name, and then let's see whether this works. Like that, still fails. One thing we can also think of is so this is purely guesswork, but you can create a list using of possible combinations between username, first name, and the domain name to see, and then brute force through, since you already know the password is a constant, to see what will work. So I'll add the domain name here, see whether this works, and fortunately we are able to log in. One of the things we see here is a lot of transactions. We also have a couple of accounts here, so we can try and learn how this is actually working in the background. We can just start by our proxy there, and then just put everything here to go through BAP. Can refresh to see whether this worked, and yes, this worked. Let's try. Okay, that's interesting. Awesome. So we can see that we have some sort of API here, and one thing to notice is the email address. We have the user ID. So this is an application that is actually using IDs to map objects. So that is one thing to note. For example, here we have an account number, but we have an object ID for it. So instead of it going to look for the account number that is in numeric form that you can easily brute force, they're actually using account IDs which you cannot brute force. So that is an interesting way to first see that they have taken quite a huge step towards curbing idle attacks, that is indirect object reference, insecure direct object reference, that is. Sorry about that. So one thing we are going to try is let's try transferring some money, and then see whether we can change where the money heads to, because heads up is if we have the object reference of where the money is headed to, then we can easily change it and see whether we have an indirect object reference on the object ID, not the account number. All right, so let's transfer, and we're just going to check from there. That one has, select the from account, then we're just going to take $1,000 or 10,000, and then this is trial. Where is the flag? So let's have intercept on there. Okay, cool. Send this to repeater, forward, intercept off. So the transfer was successful. Let's check the transactions, and we actually have this here. This is a trial. Where is the flag? I can try see whether we can move cache here, and then we will see. We can also try familiarizing ourselves with this site a better. So checking on the profile, we see we don't have much. We can check on the loans, we can check on the details. We actually don't have much. Nothing as of now, and we have one personal loan here that has the flag. So this is the final flag. Interesting. So let's get the GUID, and then from there we can try that transfer from the Prime Minister's account. So we'll just change the from account and the to account. Okay, yes. And now having the GUID, we can just easily change it here. We'll just put it as the to account, because you're supposed to transfer money to Mr. X account, which is represented by this GUID. And once you're able to send it, you're supposed to send your username. So we'll just say admin at hackit.com. This is the demo. This is the demo account. Send us the flag. So when you put your username, and this is the username that you registered on the site with, you are automatically awarded points once this transaction goes through. So when you send it, funny enough, the transfer is so trying to check it on the transactions here. You see that there's a transaction to an unknown account. So that's when you know that this transaction actually went through. And that is actually the simulation that we had. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed the threat model that we used.
Game of Hacks, brought to you by Hackit.